Hey everybody, this is Adam again at Archery Country. In today's video, we're going to talk about one of the commonly asked questions that people ask in our shop, and that is, what's the difference between a wrist style release and a handheld type release? First thing, there's so many different variants within each category. With our wrist style releases, typically they're going to be our most common by far. Why? Most times they're going to be a cheaper style release. They're very simple in their function. Strap onto your wrist. They're always on your person, so for hunting purposes, makes it really nice, convenient. Makes it nice and easy to draw a bow back as well. Nice, simple trigger to work, clip on the string, very safe, easy to use. When we get into our handhelds, that's probably going to have the most amount of variance, because not only do we have a trigger style release, we also have hinges out there that are available and resistance style releases. Why would somebody go with one over the other? It all kind of depends what they're wanting to use it for. We see our resistance and hinges sometimes used as purely training tools, and sometimes we see them used out in the field as well. Thumb styles or thumb activated trigger handheld releases are going to be more popular. Probably every single one of us here in the pro staff at Archery Country shoots some type of handheld, whether it's a hinge or a thumb button. Reason being, and the reason why I myself shoot a thumb button, is just because the style of thumb buttons that are available out there typically are a little more expensive, but with that you have more features. There's more ways to change the ergonomics of the release, whether it's a 3-finger or a 4th finger or the angle of the handle itself, so that way you can get it set up within your hand the most comfortable. You're not reaching. You can get set up deep on that release or maybe shallow, just depending on your archery style. Also, what's nice about these is we can adjust the thumb pegs, whether it's the length or the width or the circumference of that peg, so that way it fits into our thumb nice. Everybody's hands are a little bit different, and everybody has a different style in which they want to set up on that thumb peg. But probably one of the biggest drivers why people switch to a high quality thumb button release is going to be the type of adjustments available in terms of sensitivity and trigger travel. Personally, I like to set mine up heavy enough that I can get my thumb deep onto it and I'm not worried about it going off. With these, like the Stan Onyx for example, we have tons of adjustment so we can set it heavy, get set up on it. Also, we have different ways to execute this. With an index style release, typically we just have a trigger and we have only one type of motion in which we can execute that release, whether it's just a simple squeeze or a direct pull through of that release. When we get into our thumb buttons, we can use different styles of execution. So even though this one's not a hinge, we can execute it like a hinge with like a roll type method. Say we take the top end of our hand and we roll that thumb peg into our thumb itself, or you can just squeeze and get that to go off, or you can kind of tighten up your entire hand as you execute that release, or you can just pull your hand almost through the release, whether it's putting more pressure on the outer part and thumb and then relaxing those middle fingers. Just a little bit more creative ways to get that to execute, so we're not isolating that thumb movement into just a little jab and then bringing back that target panic. Again, there's pros and cons with these. Personally, I like to hunt with the thumb button just because I can keep it in my pocket and I have nothing on my hand, so I'm climbing up a stand or if I need to range something, my hands are free of any obstruction. Also, it keeps it nice and tucked in, so that way it's nice and warm, and then when I do need to use it, I can pull it out, clip it on my string. This one here is a string retainer, and so I can let that sit, so that way if I need to use my hand for something else I can, but it's right there at the ready to go. But then when I'm traveling or getting out of the tree stand, I can tuck that back in my pocket, climb back down. Use this a lot for tournaments, just because I like how I can be really precise with my release execution. But in general, there's no right or wrong answer. Again, we see a lot of people using wrist style release. They're very nice. There's different varieties. There's some that you can adjust the trigger sensitivity and travel. There's different configurations, whether it's a dual caliper or a single hook. We can see those in both parts of the market. But if you have any questions, the main thing is come into our shops. We have release trainers that you can use. Bring your bow in. You're more than welcome to shoot them on your bow. We have different podcasts where we go through the different types of releases and proper activation, as well as different YouTube videos going through how to properly execute each one of these and what's the ideal way to use them if you decide to go with one. Feel free to shoot us an email, drop into one of the stores, ask us all these questions. We're well stocked on all different types of releases, hinges, resistance, wrist styles, all different types. And so again, like and subscribe. We got more great archery content coming out for you, and thanks for your time.